You're listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.
It's Tuesday, July 1st. Here's why global investors are paying attention to Korea today. Welcome to this deep dive. If you are managing a global portfolio or, just trying to track the macro currents out there, we have a pretty crazy story for you. Let's start with a staggering number. In just the first half of 2026, foreign investors net sold 149 trillion, one from the KOSPI.
Which is roughly 106 billion US dollars.
Right, 106 billion. And the craziest part is that just two names, Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, absorbed like 87% of those outflows.
Yeah, that level of concentration is just massive.
It really is. It's like a huge whale suddenly leaving a small pond.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think a $106 billion exit would completely drain the water and crush everything left behind.
Yeah.
But the KOSPI has actually remained surprisingly resilient. So with that in mind, what is actually driving this mechanical flight, and how is it impacting the currency underneath it all?
Well, to understand the currency side, you actually have to look at Japan first. The Japanese yen just had a 40-year low, sitting at 162 per dollar.
Oh, wow, 162.
Yeah, it's rough. And when the yen gets that weak, it completely crushes the relative carry appeal of Asian currencies. Basically, they just don't look attractive to hold compared to the US dollar,
So investors just pull their money out of the region entirely.
Exactly. They pull out, and as a direct consequence, the Korean won is taking a massive hit. It is now threatening a 1,600 per dollar ceiling, which is wild because that actually surpasses the 2009 global financial crisis peak.
Wait, really? The 2009 peak?
Yeah, and this is happening despite the Bank of Korea blowing through $13.6 billion in a completely failed intervention.
Wow. So foreign flight weakens the won, and the external pressure is just overwhelming. But domestic policy is compounding this capital flight today, right?
It is. Today, Korea's National Pension Service, or the NPS, officially activates its 20.8% domestic equity cap.
Okay, let me make sure I have this right. A domestic equity cap means they are strictly mandated to not hold more than 20.8% of their entire portfolio in domestic stocks.
Right. It's a hard mechanical ceiling. And since the market was actually rallying, their slice of the pie just got too big. So this policy creates a moving average rebalancing mandate.
Which means they are mechanically forced to sell.
Exactly. They have to sell off stocks to balance the scales again. If the KOSPI reaches the 9,000 mark, this mandate could unleash a 74.4 trillion won selling overhang.
That is insane.
Yeah.
So domestic policy creates an internal equity ceiling, and foreign flight weakens the won. What global anchors are even stabilizing this so the whole thing doesn't just collapse?
Well, there are two neutral global policy anchors helping out right now. First, you have the U.S. Supreme Court ruling protecting the Federal Reserve's independence.
Which I imagine reduces politically driven rate volatility.
Exactly. It calms the dollar panic. And second, the ECB's recent 25 basis point hike signals a very measured, gradual rate path in Europe.
Okay, so there's some global parachutes catching the fall here. Taking everything into account, what is the core takeaway for our listeners?
While foreign investors dumped that massive 149 trillion won in the first half, structural selling pressures from the 1,600 won ceiling and the NPS equity cap complicate any clean reversal thesis for July. For portfolio managers, the most actionable near-term variable is whether SK Hynix's July 10th U.S. ADR listing targets generate enough structural won buying to put a floor under the exchange rate. Ultimately, early flow data from this repatriation will reset FX hedging cost assumptions and dictate the signal to either add or reduce Korea exposure.
When sovereign funds are forced by mandate to mechanically sell their winners, who is systematically waiting on the other side of that trade, that's today's AI PRISM, Global Investors, AI-assisted, editor-reviewed, one IFRA award-winning. Back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.